Hi everyone, and welcome to the UEG Expert Portrait session. I'm Ranko Gacesa, medical researcher at the Department of Gastroenterology and Department of Genetics at University Medical Center Groningen in the Netherlands. So currently I do biomedical research in gastroenterology. And in fact, I did not always plan to work in gastroenterology. My original background is biotechnology, not in medicine. So and I moved here roughly 3 years ago to the University Medical Center Groningen and started working in gastroenterology research. So this switch was largely because at the end of my PhD, I realized that I'm more interested in an actual application of science than in doing science for the sake of science itself. And so I realized that opportunities here at University Medical Center, in the hospital, they placed me very close to actual patient care, to application of medical research. And I thought the medical research of this type, it's one of the best possible applications of science. It leads to benefit and betterment of human health in the long term. I studied biotechnology and microbiology during my undergrad studies. So it was mostly based on engineering and industry and production. And it was in University of Zagreb in Croatia. So I'm originally from Croatia. And at the end of my graduate studies, I realized I'm more interested in science and research than in industry. So given the right circumstances, I moved to King's College London, UK, to work on a PhD project where we were trying to develop novel active compounds, novel drugs for treatment of degenerative diseases of aging, like Alzheimer's disease. And it was very early stage research, so largely theoretical work, but we also managed to put some of these promising candidates into the lab, into cell-based models. So near the end of my PhD, I started looking for new opportunities. And then I also realized that there is still a bit of engineering in me. I like applied science. I like to work closer to where actually science will leave a mark, will interact with the real world. And I came into contact with the INSES group, so gastroenterology group at University Medical Center Groningen. And I really like the work that they do here. So it's a work on human gut microbiome, looking at all the little bacteria that live inside people and how they interact with our health. And so I came to Groningen to do research, and I've been there for the last 3 years. So I'm currently working on 2 large collaborative projects at UMCG. One is the Dutch microbiome project that I will also present at UEG Virtual Week 2020. So here we are collaborating with our genetics department and also with Lifeline's biobank, so the large biobank in the north of Netherlands, which is monitoring people over a long period of time, collecting all sorts of information and samples for microbiome collection and analysis. So here we are looking at what is shaping bacteria that live inside us. So is it the food that we eat? Is it our lifestyle? Is it environment that we were exposed to as children? Is it pets? So what makes it as it is? And then we are looking at microbiome in health and disease. So how is it linked with all the different diseases? Can we find common patterns there? Can we say something about this is healthy microbiome and this is much less healthy? And the ultimate goal of the project is to not only look at the data, but also try and come up with strategies on how can we change our microbiome to make ourselves healthier and to increase our health in the future, to make us age more healthy. And so that's one of the projects. And the other is another large collaboration between university medical centers in the Netherlands. It's called the TIMID project. So here I'm also looking at a gut microbiome, but the question is very different. So we're looking at how do these bacteria interact with our immune system? So how are they linked with different, seemingly unrelated autoimmune disorders? So not just disorders of the gut like IBD, but also neurodegenerative diseases like multiple sclerosis or even diseases of the skin. So, and here we are not only looking at the data, but we're also growing these bacteria. We are putting them in the lab and asking questions in the models of human immune system. So what are they actually doing to us? So why would they affect our health in a negative way? And again, idea is that in the long term, we might be able to change these bacteria or to change our microbiome to help with treatment and prevention of autoimmune diseases. As I already mentioned several times, so I'm primarily interested not actually in the human digestive system per se, but primarily in the human microbiome. So idea here is that when we look at ourselves as humans, we like to think about ourselves as single organism, right? But in reality, there is roughly as much bacteria living inside our digestive system as there is human cells in our body. And in fact, we cannot properly function without them. So we need them to digest certain foods. We need them for our immune system to function properly. And there's plenty of evidence that these bacteria are linked not only to our gut health, but also to health of all the different parts of our body. So including things like mental health, which we would not assume is linked to our gut. So I think that's pretty fascinating. And the other thing about microbiome is, unlike, for example, human genetics, which is very, very solid, it's very difficult to change. We can in fact alter our gut microbiome. If we switch diet, then in the long term, we will change bacteria that live in our gut. So there are huge opportunities here to improve long-term human health. So that's my interest in digestive system. So considering the developments this year, I will refrain from any long-term predictions of the future. But at least for me, in the short term, I plan to stay in gastrointestinal research. So there are multiple big projects that I'm working on, and we plan to expand on some of them in collaboration with Lifelines partners to look at what's the connection with our microbiome and health over, say, 10, 15 years time period. And after that, given opportunities, I plan to stay in medical research, collaborating with medical doctors, and trying to apply the science we are working on to actually improve human health to devise new treatments. Thank you for watching, and see you at UEG Week Virtual 2020. That will be held from 11th to 13th of October. So I'll be giving a talk entitled The Dutch Microbiome Project, defining healthy and unhealthy gut microbiome and its determining factors in 9,000 metagenomes. Well, thanks again, and bye.